Welcome, everybody in the community newspaper family and in the comedy calendar family into this very, very special 50th edition of the South Florida Comedy Calendar. Guys, I am so proud to be able to come to you guys today on this Monday and say that we are at episode 50. It was the main goal when we started this podcast. As many of you know out there, if you're comics or if you're other adjacent people who have heard about our story and have been listening to us for a while, you know that 50 episodes was the benchmark, and we have just hit it, and we already have the next few scheduled. So 50 and beyond, we're hitting 100 next, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Clap that up.
Absolutely. And we are here today, not only joined by an incredible guest that I will be introing in one moment, but I am also joined by the man who has been here holding it down with me for 50 episodes, Art Roach. How are you doing today, Art?
I'm happy about the 50th episode. I'm not doing too well, Sebi. I'll be honest with you. Last week, it was back to school week. Traffic was horrendous all over the place. Big shout out to all the teachers that, are going back to school, taking care of the kids. I do have one question, though, is all summer, these teachers, principals, they promised they were going to come out to comedy shows. They're like, all right, in the summer, we can make it out, Where were you guys? Summer's over. I didn't see any of you at shows. I'm talking specifically to all the employees at Matter Academy and South Miami Senior High. Where were you guys? We were there. We were waiting for you. Now you're back to school. So I don't want to hear it. You guys are going to come out to shows. In the first semester, before grades are out, you guys are going to come out to a comedy show. That's all I want to say. Back to you, sir.
Understood. That is a call to action for all the teachers out there who think that just staying out late makes any kind of option during the week unviable. Guess what? You guys have no choice now. You got to come out and see a comedy show with us. But with that being said, guys, I would like to introduce our 50th guest, or the guest on our 50th episode, guys. He is probably the most knowledgeable person that we've had on in terms of the story of South Florida comedy. Nobody has been closer to South Florida comedy or tapped into the scene better than the man sitting next to me. I want everybody here in the community newspapers and at the Comedy Calendar fam to put your hands together for the man himself, Justin Echavarria.
Can I clap for myself? Is it weird if I clap for myself?
Yeah. You can clap for yourself. You can clap for yourself.
How'd you say my name again? Say it one more time.
Echavarria.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Smooth. The rolls off the tongue.
If you don't know, Justin, guys, if you haven't been out to a show at the Improv, if you're one of those teachers at Matter or South Miami, you don't know that this guy runs the show over at the Miami Improv. He is one of the managers over there and has been there for how many years, Justin? How many years?
19 years, bro.
19 years.
19 years into comedy. It's crazy.
That's amazing. First of all, in any field, to work for the same company or to work in the same job for 19 years is incredible. But you've actually worked your way up from the bottom, and that's why we got him here, because he's been there since the Grove days, since they were giving away free tickets to Kevin Hart and Burt Kreischer and Sebastian Maniscalco. All those guys used to come through, and they were nobodies, and they were hanging out with our boy right here. So we're definitely going to get some cool stories from back in the day. We're going to get some knowledge about the shows that are happening currently at the Improv and adjacently Cafecito Comedy and what we got going on. So Justin, first of all, thank you for being on the show, man.
Hell
really
yeah,
appreciate
man. You guys. I mean, I feel honored to be the guest for the 50th. It's a big deal. And then people don't know we all work together, so we're boys, and it's kind of like, when you said come through, it's like, yeah, you come kick it, but you're really cool with somebody when you could just roast each other and it's just laughing and shit. So we were just sitting here roasting each other for like 5 minutes before we started. And it's like, hey, that's how you want it to be.
Of course.
You can't come over here and be all stiff and this and that, but we're here, man. And I'm happy to be here. Happy you guys had me on. Shout out to Chris D'Elia. Art's wearing Chris D'Elia's merch.
Yes, sir.
Heck yeah.
The most important merch of all time we got. There it is. Can you see it?
The nicest shirt in comedy, I think.
Yeah.
That's the best shirt in comedy.
Well, I will tell you this. Everywhere I go wearing my Cafecito shirt, people are like, Cafecito Comedy? Like, whatever that is, I want something.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yes. In Miami, it's just a perfect brand.
I was thinking about this the other day. So Cafecito Comedy is, an adjacent brand to the Improv. It's the same in the comedy world, but shout out to Robbie Day, who's the other half owner of Cafecito Comedy. When we were coming up with the name, obviously you want some type of Miami lingo to it or something like that. And the original name for Cafecito Comedy, I don't think I've ever said this anywhere, was supposed to be Cafecito Cartel, right? Then we thought, doesn't sound as friendly as something. Then the next option was Café con Comedy.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
But then white people will have I feel like Cafecito, everybody knows Cafecito. Even if you're whatever, you can say it. So
even if you're not from Miami, you know what
right.
that is.
That's the origin of Cafecito Comedy. There you go. You're welcome, everybody.
Damn.
Breaking news.
And so you've been now running Cafecito Comedy for, it's like 2.5 years now?
I don't know, bro. That time flies so fast. It's when the 19 years just went by. Like, I just still remember being in the Grove. Yeah. And then it's like, how long has the Improv been open in Doral?
9 years.
9 years?
It's crazy to me, bro. I feel like it was 3 years. It's like everything just goes like this. So I think Cafecito now, going back to the first thing we ever did, actually, yeah, it's almost 2 years. Because the first one we ever did, I think, was that game show. So, yeah. But it flies, bro. And,
well, it's the best damn game show.
The best damn game show.
Shout out Marcos.
Trademark. Shout out Marcos. Dude. A lot of this wouldn't be possible with Marcos, our God Savvy. He's and Luis Diaz. We have a good group of guys who help us support. Obviously, our friends on the other side of the social media world. Yeah. But I tell people, when you have somebody like Marcos and Luis, that you can sit there and it's like we have the same sense of humor, the same thoughts. So writing shows, things like that. Me and Marcos, it's like I'll be thinking of something and he's already doing it, and it's like you need that. That's a huge part of building this brand that we got going on. Like I couldn't do it without anything like that. And then Sebastian too. Sebastian is our guy. He started off. What was the first thing? He was a shop boy. Yeah, we had Sebastian. Can you believe this? Can you believe we had Sebastian running around in a onesie? A Speedo. Yep, he's a Speedo. No, he didn't do it. No,
but we have some ridiculous outfits that I've almost worn and eventually will wear.
I can't wait till he wears.
I voted for the Speedo, guys. I voted for him to wear the Speedo. Oh, yeah. Well, listen, anyone out there, if you have cash in your pocket, hit me up. We can put him in a Speedo for you. He does house calls.
We bought him a bunny outfit one time. He was gonna go like a Chippendales type look, like just But then the other one that we have that we're waiting to pull out is the yodeler.
The yodeler,
nice.
Yes.
Yeah, the stockings and everything. But yeah, it's the variety of shows that Cafecito brings. It's not, there is comedy showcases where you can get all the time with the Improv, but this is game shows, trivia,
the brunches.
What else? I mean, we know we've done dating shows, karaoke. It's just everything, anything that you want to do, laugh, good times, and you learn a lot through failure. And we failed already a few times, but I feel like we're getting ourselves into position right now to really expand and really make this not just South Florida thing, but start taking it across the country.
And speaking of shows that you're running, we actually got one on the lineup for the shout out this week.
What is it?
Not this week specifically, but we are going to be shouting it out. Obviously, the shows that we've been running at Barry's.
Yeah, man.
They have been going fantastic, but we will get to that. Starting off, though, with a little bit of a recap, guys, of last week and what we had going on in South Florida comedy to get you guys started is a have-not show that we had yesterday, believe it or not. This is a quick turnaround of content and information for you guys, but that's why we always keep it up to date. We had have-nots last night at the Miami Improv, guys, and it was an amazing show. Yeah. Art, you were on the show. You were actually performing last night. Dan was there taking pictures, so tell me a little bit about how it went from an on-stage perspective.
Great show. Big shout out to Dom P. I mean, he's turning people out for all of these shows every time. A lot of these people are first-time, audience members to the Improv, so it's great because they come, they have a good time, and they come back later. But so big shout out to Dom P. We had Drew Illa, who hosted the night. Great comedian. He did just the perfect amount of time. Didn't even go 1 minute over his time, which is awesome. Oriel Rodriguez killed it. Dom P, obviously. We had Dina Cruz, and the big headliner was Chris Renoir, who, South Florida, favorite, been a guest on the podcast, absolutely ripped it. I had a bunch of my friends who were at the show last night, and, Chris, I think, got the overwhelming amount of just love. Everybody really, really appreciated what he was doing, and they want to know when he's going to be back. So big shout out to Chris Renoir.
Absolutely, man. That's always a good time, guys. If you haven't made it out to a Have Not show yet, don't worry. They're always happening at the Improv. We got one coming up again this week on Thursday, so you never miss an opportunity to come out and enjoy some of that local talent that Dom P is able to bring around.
Shout out to Dom P.
Yeah. We actually do have a quick little snippet video from Dart Vision that he's been putting together. Quick turnaround for Dart. Pretty much did it overnight. Had it ready for us this morning on the comedy calendar on this Monday. But take a little look at how the show went last night.
I was born with this face, so We want more Have Not comedy.
There you go, man. And if you
What a
again,
guy.
yeah, right.
You can always count on Dan. You can always count on Dan to get.
He's got a great eye for for the right stuff.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Yeah,
and he has an eye for talent.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
Moving on though to Tuesday, August 18th. That is this Tuesday, guys, happening over at Shamrock Comedy. Guys, if you haven't made it out to Shamrock Comedy Club, make it out there as soon as possible to catch a show, because guess what? They bring in some of the best talent to South Florida to headline their clubs and to fill out their spots, because they always put together incredible lineups, guys. This one is second to none. You have Brian Coronado, who's going to be headlining. Lisa Correo will be featuring, and also featuring on that is David Stebbins with a headlining spot that you guys are. I have a personal endorsement. You guys really want to come out and see this guy, Forrest Shaw, guys. I was lucky enough to perform with him on a show at the Kravitz Center with Ian Bagg. If you haven't seen the interview that we recently did with Ian Bagg, you should go check that out. But it was an incredible weekend of shows that weekend in West Palm, and Forrest was one of the features on there, and I was able to watch him from the sidelines, from the wings of the theater, and enjoy every single one of his sets, because he is truly a master of comedy. He's been doing this for years. Justin, you actually worked with him when he was coming up here in Miami, right?
When is this show?
This is Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
Okay. Sorry, Marcos. I know it's your birthday. I'm gonna go see Forrest Shaw. Bro, Forrest Shaw is one of the reasons why South Florida comedy got to where it's at right now. He's part of that group of guys that, when I was in the Grove, was featuring and doing stuff like that. But I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's some guys who really took advantage of the positions they were put in, and Forrest ran with it. I mean, when I tell you he's open for Bill Burr, for the biggest names in comedy, because they know how funny he is, and that's one of South Florida's own. So whenever I think he's in LA, he lives in LA?
I believe so, yeah.
Anytime he's down here, I mean, I can't say enough. You have to see. Forrest is it's just, I don't know, I could be biased because he's a friend of mine too, but I know a lot of my friends who aren't that funny. but Forrest is amazing, man. Oh, I could go on for Forrest. Y'all get back to your stuff.
Well, no, but I will say this about that. That's one of the things. So the Field Irish Pub is where Shamrock does their shows, and I will say he's been bringing out talent. I know we were talking about Kevin Farley a couple of weeks back. Kevin Farley will be there in 2 months as well. So he's bringing in these guys. He's doing the work and doing it at the Field. He also will be a whole guest on the show next month. And he's got some big announcements that he's going to be talking about. So I think he's going to expand a little bit more of what the offerings are. So I'm looking forward to it. I won't be able to be there tomorrow. We won't be able to be there tomorrow because we have a show, but definitely we'll be looking forward to getting up there to the Field and catching some of these Shamrock shows.
Absolutely. And speaking of that show that will be happening on, again, August 18th, this Tuesday, guys, you want to go out to Boss Tapas and Burgers. Guys, we are having an amazing show that is being curated by Ellie Rodriguez, one of our good friends here on the comedy calendar. Guys, we always promote her shows, and I love the fact that she's expanding and doing more shows, because that's what we need down here in South Florida, is the best producers producing more. And I'm glad to see that she's teamed up with Boss Tapas and Burgers, because it is looking like it's going to be an incredible night of comedy if you come out as a fan. But because of this lineup that Ellie has put together, guys, it is going to be myself, Art Roach, we have Oriel Rodriguez, and Michelle Castro, all going to be on that lineup with a special guest headliner that you guys do not want to miss. Also, of course, before I get into that, Ellie also will be performing. Obviously, Ellie will be doing her thing. But this guest headliner, I already know that Ellie is going to do an amazing job with whoever it comes to. She wouldn't be keeping it a secret if it wasn't something really, really good. We were hitting her up before the show and being like, hey, you want us to announce it? She's like, no, it's so special and it's going to be so good that she's keeping it to the people who are going to make it there to the show. So you want to go out there this Tuesday, guys, for the show. It's going to be at 8 p.m. in Hialeah. Make your way out there to Boss Tapas and Burgers.
Let me ask you something really quick. This is another show that's tomorrow night?
Mm-hmm.
Bro. Sorry, Forrest, I got to go see Ellie. Nah, but let me tell you, this is why we are where we are right now. South Florida. 10 years ago, there was no multiple stages and rooms and stuff to go see comedy and stuff. There was one night, and if it wasn't there, it's not there. Look how many shows we got going on in 1 week that have the great shows. It's not just okay shows. It's not like you're going to go and hear at a dive bar or something. These are great shows all in one time at the same time. So shout out to Ellie, Shamrock, Cafecito Comedy, all that stuff, you know, keeping it together.
And speaking of Cafecito Comedy, guys, for the 50th episode and for Cafecito Comedy, we actually got a special delivery. We got some Cuban Cafecito coming to the table. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Comedy.
We brought the comedy. You brought the cafecito. Thank you.
Look at that.
That's how we do it.
Said you'll take that one.
They take care of you in this place.
Thank you
Cheers,
so
boys.
much.
Cheers.
Cheers. Shots.
Hey. Anything to help get through the Monday, you know?
There's Dan.
Oof. Good. You
Fantastic.
Can
Thank
tell,
you.
You can tell
Thank you so
Cuba
much.
made it.
Yep.
100%. 100%. And of course, here at community newspapers, they only have the finest Cubans employees. So that's
I mean, I think that's just Miami in general. You know?
You
But
just
shout out to the Dominicans too, though.
yeah. I was gonna say you're just assuming we're not all Cubans. We're not all Cubans. Not everybody that speaks Spanish is
we're
Cuban.
not also. Now you're including yourself in that demographic.
I'm including myself in the people that work here that are not Cuban.
He's adopted. He's an
Oh,
adopted
okay,
Cuban.
Got you.
Bro, you know what? Because, you know, I'm Dominican and my family's half Dominican, half Cuban. Depending on who I'm talking to, that's how my accent comes out. So if I'm talking to the Cuban side comes out. If I'm talking to the Dominican has a whole nother wavelength of the
Everything.
way they speak
Lingo,
and stuff.
slang, everything.
Yeah, all right, let's get back to it. You see, we'll talk for hours, bro. This is,
No, you're good.
now we're just having fun.
The funny thing for me is that like I'm Brazilian. When I speak Spanish and I tell people I'm from Brazil, they're like, "No, you're not."
Because you speak good Spanish.
I'm like, "Okay, but yes, I'm from Brazil." Like, no, you're not. You're not from Brazil.
Yeah. But you speak well enough that it's like, are you though? You know, because it's like you can pull it off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've always been like a chameleon like that though. So it's like,
But then you pull, you throw out that Portuguese, and then it's like, ooh.
yes, sir. Yes,
Portuguese
That's what he's doing.
Portuguese is just spicy Spanish.
There you go.
Right?
I'll take that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a little spicy.
Because I mean, I feel like you can understand it. Not everything, but you can catch certain things.
yeah,
if
like
you
I
know
speak
Spanish.
Portuguese.
You can't do it?
Is
that something? No. I was like, yeah.
It's crazy because
Senna.
he's doing all the right sounds.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're
But
just not in the right order.
It's just complete
Yeah.
gibberish, but it's all the right sounds. Like, we're gonna write a bossa nova song.
Yeah.
It's gonna be-
Oh, bro, it's gonna be. Have you ever heard that song? There was a song in the '70s that an Italian dude he just did what sounded like American music.
Yes, yeah.
And he was just like zap the gam damn ham gram damn.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it was
a hit.
And it killed.
banged.
It
It
was
banged
killed.
in Italy.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do with the Portuguese that I speak. But moving on to this Thursday at the Miami Improv, guys, we are calling back to our boys over at Have Nots. Dom P is putting on another show. Can you believe that somebody is that good at producing shows in South Florida? They can do one on Sunday and one on Thursday at the biggest club.
Another
Cafecito Comedy.
reason why Cafecito is where it's at. Dom.
Heck yeah.
You need that.
He is, I think, the best promoter in South Florida comedy. And I don't think it's not even close.
I agree.
Well, not only that, like I actually, every single other person that I talk to that's doing a show, I asked them, like, have you talked to Dom P? Like, go talk to him. You know what I mean? Like
he's cracked the code.
Yeah, like why not? Like why?
Go to the
how could it
Crypt
hurt to be involved with someone who's doing such a good job at putting butts in seats? You know, every chance I get, I try to pick his brain.
The last few shows that he's done, I remember recently he told me, he was like, "Man, I figured it out. I got the marketing down. I know exactly how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna be bringing out 300 people to each show," and he's done it.
Yeah.
He's done it at Fort Lauderdale and Miami.
A lot of people promise 300 and they don't get 300.
And he's done it time and time again since he's figured it out. It's been crazy.
He figured it out. That's what it is.
And he did a great job with Barry's. We had an amazing turnout at that Barry's show thanks to him. So we always want to give Dom the love that he deserves, because doing that and just seeing two shows of the same kind in the same week, you rarely see that unless you're a headliner. You know, most people, even if you're a touring act and you're not a main weekend headliner, you're probably just getting one. You can't carry it two nights a week. So super impressive.
And the other thing for me is a lot of people talk about like, oh, doing things for the community. What can Dom do more for the community than create spots for us to perform at the Miami Improv? You know what I mean? Like
and quality.
Quality spot. I mean, last night I was with Drew, Oriel, Dom P, Dina, and Chris Renoir. Like, you don't really get much. You don't get many chances to have.
I mean, that's something, again, the reason why comedy in South Florida is getting so good because of that. Because that's only something you see like in New York, LA, like now, Austin and stuff. But
and believe it or not, there's not that many spaces in New York that can hold 300 people.
Well, not.
You know what I mean?
I'm saying more about the community of comics.
I get what you're saying.
Being able to all hang out and stuff like that. Like, again, the other day when we had Chris D'Elia, Afion Crockett is in town. He's like, "Yo, can I come by the show?" And I'm like, "Of course." Like, Guy Torrey always popping in and out. We built this like house that I tell comics, just come in. This is whatever you need. We got you. And with Dom, shout out to Dom and Have Nots. We were talking about something the other day, and then he like eventually when he does a weekend, right? That's 5 shows, different comics every show. That's almost up to 30 comics who will be getting on in a weekend.
Yep.
At the biggest stage with a basically sold out
And it's
audience.
like that's what more, like you said, what more can Dom do for comics than put on a showcase at 30 comics in a weekend?
And I can't wait for that weekend to come through because you know that on that Monday we're gonna have Dom P right here in studio being able to talk about an incredible feat of comedy in South Florida that will be happening. I think very soon because if he continues on
I don't know if that was a secret. I don't know if I should have spilled that, but
hey,
well, I didn't know. So thank you.
Either way, it shouldn't be a secret based upon the track record that he's had because he is somebody who can carry that. And I think the only natural progression, the only natural step from here is a weekend.
Yeah.
So
if you just make a line between the dots, and you're like, wait a second, this is going somewhere, you know.
So you guys have that to look forward to, and I promise you guys, not only will you know well in advance for that, but also if you do get tickets to that, you are going to be getting literally the best in South Florida. That is probably one of those weekends that you could get tickets to multiple shows. Yeah, you could go Saturday, both shows, and have an amazing time. There'll be two different shows. It's going to be incredible, guys. It's going to be incredible.
And a lot of the comedians in South Florida, they ask like, damn, Art, like, you know, you get on the have-nots. How do you do? Guys, if you're a comedian in South Florida, just come out to one of the shows. Let Dom see you. I mean, I'm not speaking for Dom here, but like, come to one of the shows, show some love and support. Talk to Dom at the end. Yeah. And then he might be a little more inclined to put you on the schedule because he sees that you're doing, you know, you're messing with what he's doing. So a lot of guys that haven't been to a have-not show just to watch, come out, watch, support us, the comedians that are your friends that are on stage. And it also helps you get into what's going on.
And on top of that, the only other thing that you guys can do is go out there and keep killing.
Yes.
Well, go out there, go to the local scenes.
Comedy's like sports. It's muscle repetition. The more you do it, the better you get. You can't sit at home and not be telling jokes and expect to get on stage and do something. Well, Kobe wasn't out there at his house, you know, playing something. He's out there shooting Curry 1,000 shots before the game. Yep. So what happens game time? Game time.
It's muscle memory. You know? It's nothing.
And you need to.
And the thing about getting out and doing your thing is cream always rise to the top. So if you keep posting your content, you keep going out and performing, you will catch the attention of not only Dom, but the other producers in South Florida. That's really the only standard. If you like going out and just expecting things to be given to you because you're a comedian in South Florida doesn't count. You know, anywhere else in the country, that doesn't count. Just doing the job isn't enough. You got to be above and beyond. Yeah. And I believe that sentiment is being reciprocated in South Florida right now. Yes. I think definitely more people are understanding that there is an additional effort even beyond being a stand-up comedian that needs to be made, whether it be through content, whether it be through producing, whether it be through just getting your name out there in any means, through however you can do it. I think everyone's kind of finding their groove right now and trying to figure out, okay, what's that multiplier? What's that thing that's going to take me from open micer to feature to you know actually being able to have my own brand.
It's a lot on the person itself, how funny you are and everything like that. But bro, a lot of this comedy stuff is sometimes luck. Sometimes you got to be lucky. Even if you're not performing, you got to go places, be there because you never know. You never know. I think it's happened with you a few times that a comic doesn't show up and we need somebody to get up and it's like you're there, boom, get on stage. You never know who you're gonna open for. Who's gonna take you on the road? Let's see if you guys know where I'm going with this. You don't know who you're gonna open for, who then takes you on the road, and then somebody sees you, and then all of a sudden you're on a major TV show doing movies with Adam Sandler and Bad Bunny, and then it all gets traced back to boom, the opening.
Oh, we talk about
yeah, of course, Marcelo.
There you go. Said his name.
We're always talking about exactly that, like prepare and obscurity, like prepare when no one's looking, so that when you get that shot, you know, you get that at bat, you can swing for the fences. You know? You mentioned like for a shot doing that. You mentioned Marcelo done it, and that's really the journey that Sebi and I are on is trying to emulate those things because like we're preparing, we're going out doing our reps, and then when we get like a new faces. We went, even before all this, like we would go and do well. Like now at New Faces, for example, you guys at Cafecito are booking people off of that for your Barry show. Same thing with Dom. Like Dom goes to New Face. He was there at the last one. So if you're a comedian, you did well in front of Dom, guess what? You might reach out to you. So it's that kind of virtuous cycle that just come out, show some love and support. You might get on. Someone might see you. You might, you know what I mean? Like this.
I know for a fact in the past, Dom and other producers just go out, watch a show, see somebody killed they'd never heard of, and are like, "Hey, I want you on my next show." Like even if I have a packed lineup, I want to give you the opportunity because you're doing the work If you are seen doing the work,
Yes.
and getting results,
Yes.
you will get it will reciprocate back to you. You know what I mean?
Also, you need to. I don't want to use the word draw, but you need to have support. And as a producer, right, the more I see you can bring people, the more I want you on the show.
Of course.
And I know sometimes it's hard. There's you guys that say, how many times would you get on stage in a week? You can't. Your friends and family can't go to every show that you do. But if there's one show, you're like, look, guys, I need you at this one. I need to show the club. I need to show this person that I can bring people. It's about team. We always come back to it's about who you have and what you can do. But it's not just being funny anymore, right? It's etiquette. Yep. It's social media, all these things like that. But
what I always tell people is like when you get to that high, like at an open mic level, like a lot of these guys are slackers. They're not doing any real work. When you get to the higher levels, the professional level, everyone does their homework. Yep. Everybody's funny. Yep. Everyone's got jokes. Yep. Everyone. So those basic things, you have to have that already, in the bag. And it's the extracurriculars that are going to differentiate you from other people.
Yep.
So
you have to stand out.
Yeah.
Not only do you have to stand out to be at the elite level, but you also have to be absolutely hilarious and have a really good team around you. And the guy that we have coming through,
I love his segues, bro. I'm always like, where's he going with this shit? Go, man. I love it.
Thank you.
This guy's a pro, man.
It's why he's
why
he's the one take king.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Here he goes. How's he gonna get it? All right, go.
But this next headliner coming through the Miami Improv this weekend, guys, has all those things and more for you in store because he is somebody that is really close to the Comedy Calendar fam. We love him. You guys know him. We shouted him out last week. It's David Lucas, guys. If you haven't gone out and seen a David Lucas show yet, you are in for a treat this weekend. You got to go to MiamiImprov.com right now and get your tickets. It is August 22nd through the 23rd, guys. He won't be there on Sunday, but you want to come out Friday and Saturday to catch one of those shows because it is non-stop hilarity from start to finish, and then he gets to roasting at the end. So if you're one of the lucky people who gets to sit in the front, or you're somebody who wants to get roasted, guess what? You have the opportunity to go up on stage and have one of the masters of roasting right now in the world go up and throw a few shots at your gut if you can handle it, guys. But we have a bunch of great content that's going to be coming out for that because we do have Dart Vision, who is going to be there not only taking pictures of the stage and of the actual show, but he's going to be taking pictures of the crowd. He's going to be getting shots of all you guys having an amazing time. So you want to get out there to be a part of the experience. You may catch yourself on the Comedy Calendar in a recap video next week, guys. And by the way, if you ever do see yourself in a recap video, please comment and give us your Instagram or your handle so we can tag you in that video because we definitely want to get all you guys who are coming out and supporting us in South Florida comedy as much exposure as possible, just like we do. But
and I'll add something to that. If you see Dart at any of the shows, feel free to just give him your Instagram handle, and then we'll make sure that we tag everything on the back end. A lot of times I'm supposed to be there asking people for their Instagram, but Dart, he just doesn't stop. So if you see him, if you want to know if he took pictures of you, just give him your Instagram. Any pictures of you, I'll make sure to send it to you guys.
The picture right now, right beneath us, right here, that is a Dart Vision image of David Lucas from the last time he was at the Fort Lauderdale Improv, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
that's
damn.
in the green room at the Fort Lauderdale Improv. That's a great picture that Dan was able to take, and there are so many more in the docket, guys. And again,
and I'll say this for David Lucas' show, like if you haven't gotten tickets yet, number one, go ahead and get tickets right now. As you said, he's got a whole team around him. Dart will be there to take pictures. He has his manager Darius will be there.
Shout out Darius.
Big shout out. He'll be getting the merch out. He'll be solving all the other problems around that may come up. But most importantly, I think if you haven't been to one of his shows, I mean, he is the killer of Kill Tony. Like the number one person that's come out of Kill Tony in my book is him. You're going to be watching a full hour. And then, like you said, he's going to bring somebody on stage probably and roast the hell out of them. But most importantly, I think if you come out to the show this week, you're going to see the Comedy Calendar boys in a way with a headliner that maybe you've never seen before. Dave is a friend of ours and Dart will be there. So we're really going to be trying to get, a little bit extra out of this show. Maybe get him out there to shake some hands and do some meet and greets and really, vibe with the people in Miami. He's a Miami local. He's a guy from Miami and definitely want to make sure that, he's getting the home treatment when he gets here. So
couldn't agree more, man.
That means we got to get him some like Cuban food.
Yeah,
Amen.
100%. Definitely, we'll definitely be ordering some Sergios.
Well, I'll tell you, if you know, I have a bag of treats for him. So,
There you go. Of course, always, guys, we have to take care of our headliners anytime they come through the Miami Improv, guys. But that will be this week in South Florida comedy, guys. So definitely, I would say my highlight, my golden jewel is that David Lucas weekend, guys. If you want to go out and see anything this week, Tuesday, Boss Tapas and Burgers is going to be a fantastic show early in the week. And if you need plans this weekend, definitely go out and check out David Lucas.
And I will say for Boss Tapas and Burgers, guys, all my people, it's Hialeah here on the paper, but it's in the Miami Lakes, Miami Gardens, like Hialeah area. So all my people up there, that's my hood. If you're out there, dude, we're doing a show right next door. Come out, support. It's a local business. Get some good food, some good drinks. And the Comedy Calendar boys are going to be there. You guys have been asking, when are you guys going to do a show together? Tuesday at Boss Tapas and Burgers.
8 p.m., guys, August 18th. You want to get out there. But look ahead right now for a little bit of what's coming up in South Florida comedy, guys. We are heading over to the Fort Lauderdale Improv, guys. If you want to get tickets to any of these shows that we're shouting out right now, go to improvftl.com and get your tickets, just so you know, because you can't get tickets anywhere else for shows at Miami or for Lauderdale. Got to go directly to the source, right to the spout. And on August 21st, guys, at the Fort Lauderdale Improv, we are going to have Amir K coming through and headlining a weekend of shows. I had the absolute honor of being able to open for him when he was in Miami last time. Me and Ricky Cruz were on that show, and it was an absolute blast of a weekend. His crowd is fantastic, and he is electric, guys. He opens up for Theo Von. He does arenas. He was just at the Kaseya Center opening up for Theo Von. That was the last time he was in Miami, and now he's coming back headlining his own weekend of shows over at FTL. So definitely go online, improvftl.com. Get your tickets right there for Amir K. That is August 21st. And moving on to another show that we got on the 14th of September, guys, also at the Fort Lauderdale Improv. You want to check this guy out. He is one of the funniest international comedians I think I've ever seen come through the Improv. I think he's based now in the U.S., in New York, because I believe, as he says, it was always his dream to be a stand-up comedian. And where do stand-up comedians go to be successful? It's the United States. So we have Rafi Bastos coming through the FTL Improv, guys, September 14th. You definitely want to check that out. He brings such a unique perspective on comedy that you don't really get from many comedians, and I think he is one of the funniest guys working right now.
Hafi's a killer. One of my favorite comedians.
How'd you pronounce his name?
Hafi Bastos.
Was I saying it wrong?
No.
How do you say it?
I said Rafi.
It's Rafi.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. I can't say it that way.
That's the white way.
His actual name is Hafi Bastos, but but I don't blame you. You know.
Yeah,
no, but I actually
he gets it, though.
It's spicy.
Well, you speak Portuguese. I forgot.
He speaks Portuguese.
That's how you say his name in Portuguese?
So I definitely, I'm trying to, I don't know if he selected a host yet, but I definitely put my hat in the ring to be able to host for him or guest or feature anything on that show. But either way, if I don't get into those spots, I will definitely be up there at the show. So Comedy Calendar fam, if you're coming out, you want to know, when is the Brazilian? Hafi Bastos is coming in September. Come through. I'll be at the show 100%. If we can, we'll get Dart there to show some love as well. Olha, vai ter o show do Rafi Bastos, vai ser 14 de setembro, no Improv FTL, não pode falhar. Vamos ter o Dark Vision lá para tirar foto, fazer vídeo. Se Deus quiser, eu vou poder me apresentar com o Rafi, vamos ver. Mas não sabe ainda, né? Vamos ver. Mas esse é suficiente? Português? Gostaram?
Super racist, what you just said.
I literally tuned out so heavily.
Were you trying to Google Translate as I was
trying? But I was gonna play some Brazilian music underneath your thing, but
I don't know if he was even saying words. I
was just repeating what you were saying, Sebastian.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you translating.
It did sound like you were singing though.
Yeah,
that's
I was
just
just
how
quoting.
You're my chat GBT right now. But a quick look ahead for some stuff that we got coming up at the Miami Improv, guys. Quickly, I want to shout out on the 4th of September, guys. We have David Jolly coming through on a Thursday. If you haven't seen David Jolly, he's also from Kill Tony. Super funny guy. Spunky Robinson is going to be hosting for him. Look forward to that. The weekend following that Thursday show is going to be Bruce. Get your tickets right now, MiamiImprov.com. Following that, a really, really funny comedian who I always love when he comes through is Giannis Pappas. He's going to be the second weekend at the Miami Improv next month. Yeah. And I'm only going through next month because it is such a banger of a month that we have on the 3rd weekend of September, Harlan Williams coming through, who is somebody that I have thrown my name in the hat to open for because he is one of my biggest inspirations in comedy. I love that guy, and I've always loved him. His role in Superstar was one of my favorite roles I think ever played by anybody.
For me, it's Half Baked.
Half Baked, of course. No, fantastic. But lastly, closing out the weekend, guys, you have an amazing headliner coming through. It's going to be sold out, so get your tickets right now, and that is for Funny Marco, guys. Funny Marco always coming through the Miami Improv. He's not the first time time he's been there, but every time he does come through, it is an absolute banger of a show. So you definitely want to check that out. The September lineup for the Miami Improv guys is looking fantastic. But speaking of the Miami Improv guys, I want to take a stroll down memory lane. I want to go all the way back 19 years as we begin this interview with our boy Justin, man. What was the first, like, why'd you work at the Improv? What made you want to go there? Because for anybody who doesn't know, Justin has dabbled in comedy. You've done a few funny things, but you're not a comedian, right? It's not something you would say you do or anything like that. You're directly involved with pretty much every comedian in South Florida, but you yourself aren't. So what was it that made you want to work at the Improv 19 years ago as a young man?
That's a crazy question. Not really. So I was a really good friend of mine from high school was the head chef at the one in the Grove. And I remember I went to a show and then I saw him, and then I was like coaching or something at the time at a Boys and Girls Club. And
what sport?
Basketball.
Okay.
Of course. Come on.
You're good at football too.
Yeah. But coaching was basketball. So I go to the Improv, I see this show, and I'm like, oh, this is at night. I can work both. So then I went, I asked him for a job, and then the manager at the time, he looked at me and he's like, do you own a suit? And I had just got back from this. Bro, this is going to be something. I just got back from New York at one of those stores that said going out of business. So I bought 5 suits for $100.
Damn.
So when he said, I just got back from New York, and then he's like, do you own a suit? I'm like, I got 5 suits, bro. Straight, I'm ready. So at that time, brand new, still got the tag and everything.
I don't even know if they fit, but I have 5 suits.
At that time, the Improv didn't have security. So he was like, you're going to be what they called a greeter. So I was like working the podium. And that was it.
And from the rest is history.
The rest, I mean, that's how I started there. It wasn't like anything extra or anything. Like, it was just, I wanted to do something at night. And then right away. So my first show was it was like some poetry thing or whatever, which was a Wednesday. Thursday, first comedy show I ever saw, Chappelle.
No way, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard on a special that he talks about O.J. Simpson being in the front of the show. That then, because the one in the Grove, it's like, you know, the green room's right behind the stage.
Yeah.
So he tells a story about performing with O.J. there, and then when he got off stage, O.J. was sitting in the green room with a knife. That he went to the kitchen. O.J. Simpson went to the kitchen at the Improv and said, yo, let me get a knife.
And they gave it to him.
Here you go. So then he's sitting in the green room, and then Chappelle's like, Then he was like, hey, man, that was really funny. And then Chappelle was like, you know, nothing happened, but it was just like the last thing you expect to see is this mother. And like sitting, like he said, he described it like he was just sitting like laid back with the knife like on his lap. And
like a man who's done that before.
Right. Yeah. Comfortable with the knife in his hand.
And this was after R.I.P. This was after, like, Chappelle's show had already been out, so I was already obsessed with Chappelle, and the fact that I got to, like, I was the one who walked him in, you know, because that was my thing back then, was the
still your thing.
Yeah.
You still walk the comics.
So it was like, bro, it was crazy, a dream come true. Then being in that world, bro, it was something I had never, you know, because I had graduated and then I was coaching, and it was like never did I think I'd be in that world of sitting there. And I love comedy, and I always used to like stand up comedy. Watching was one of my favorite things.
You're a filmophile. You love movies.
Yeah.
You're like,
so the fact that I just got to sit there and look at comedy all day, every show. Like I remember back then. Now it's not as much because, you know, I'm a little bit busier, but I can, by the end on Sunday, if a comic got there Friday, on Sunday I could say their set word for word, because I would just sit there and watch every single thing, like every mannerism, everything like that. Then after, you know, you start getting comfortable and then you get to like really meet the guys and stuff like that, you start to meet people who eventually become the biggest names in the world. Like, you know, Chappelle was already big, and the fact that he was there was huge. But Melissa, the other manager at the time, she wasn't manager at the time, but she is now. Kevin Hart was at the Grove, right? This was when the movie Soul Plane came out. And they were standing outside passing out free tickets, saying there's a movie called Soul Plane out with this guy Kevin Hart who's really funny, who's performing here for free. Nobody showed up, right? I think she said her and Roz, they took him to like Denny's or something, and then he fell asleep perfectly in the back seat, like door to door without like bending his knee. Like, that's how he's really that short. Then you get into like, you know, the Wayans brothers, the whole thing. I grew up watching them, and then they ended up becoming some of our best friends. Like still to this day, one of the best people that we know.
That was my first show.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Like he's like a hero of mine, and then like the very first show I worked was his. You know.
And then it's funny because I was never as big as these people are, right? And as big as they've gotten. I was never like a groupie. Never. Oh, can I get a picture? Can I do this? It was just, and I think that's why they connected with me and stuff. But then. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool. Like at a random time I look and I'm like, I got a FaceTime from Marlon Wayans. And then I answer and then he'll be like, yo, what up? I'm on set. Where you at? And I'm like, damn. And somebody's like, who is that? And I'm like, Marlon Wayans. No big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just being there night in and night out. And then not just the comics, the people who would go to the one in the Grove, you know, the celebrities. It was, you know, Lil Wayne was there, Mayweather, Shaq. It was, you know, this is the time LeBron and Wade were in Miami, so they were coming to the shows.
And the Grove was that place that was like popping, that was like, you know, it had that energy.
The biggest show besides the weekend, the headliners, was this Tuesday night Benji Brown shows. And that was, you know how they say that was a movie? That was a movie. That was like the biggest names in the game were out there every Tuesday, no matter what. It was like a ritual. And I mean, and I, you know, I'm trying to remember how old, I don't want to say my age here, but how old I was at the time. But then again, time flies. And then just like that, the Grove closed. Mm-hmm. So then we went to the Hard Rock. Again, already in the game a little bit, you build your relationships, then that closes. Then we go to West Palm. And it's kind of like you're just jumping from club to club until we finally got home to City Place Doral. But yeah, bro.
One of the things I wanted to say before we get into like Hollywood and stuff, what do you think it was that made that Grove Improv so special? Because we still have a picture of it up in the green room. Like there's countless stories that have come out of it. Obviously, like you said, the comics that kind of were coming up at the time that are now the stalwarts of the industry. But what was it about that space that made it like so timeless and special?
So if you can't really tell from that picture, I'll try to send you guys a few of the old videos and stuff from that place. It was like, it kind of had a New York vibe because it felt like underground because of how low the roof was, right? It was very small. Like in Doral, it's, you know, it's nice. And this was literally like very tight, concealed. And a lot of comics always made a joke that if you're standing on the stage, the office was right in the middle. So you would have 50 to 70 seats on this side and then the rest of the 250 on this side. And it was like, sometimes the comics would say, I'm killing on this side of the room, but nobody over here gives a shit about what I'm doing. And with all that, the crowds were rough. It was like, people was like, you gotta be a killer to do good in Miami, because especially, you know, some shows, it's like there's no love. I remember on some of those Benji Brown shows, when somebody was bombing, you would hear people hit their cups with spoons. Ding, 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 ding. And that meant like, get the fuck off stage. I don't know if I can curse, but it says, get the fuck off stage. And there was one time, this comic gets on stage, stands there and just like smiling. A minute goes by, not a word. Walked off stage.
Damn.
And I'm like, what happened? And they're like, I forgot all my new jokes. I'm like, why don't you say any old jokes? Like, I forgot those too. And it was just that intimidating that they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite things, like whenever I'm talking to somebody and I mention that I work at the Miami Improv, like to comedians, it is crazy to say, like, I feel pride when it happens, but I do, is when they're like, oh shit, bro, tell Justin I say hi. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, how do you know? Oh man, like 10 years ago, I had this problem and fucking Justin took care of it for me. And dude, we've been friends ever since. You know what I mean? And it's like, I love hearing those kinds of things because like one of my big things is I really dislike when, especially comedians come to Miami and don't have a good time or don't have a good experience.
Right.
And then they leave with this bad taste of Miami in their mouth. So I love to hear when people say, hey man, I had such a good experience. Oh, why did you? Oh, because of Justin. It's like,
No, we you know, it's like I guess like we respect the comics more than other clubs, because I've heard, you know, the comedy world, you guys know, but when a comic starts going too long, there's this thing called the light, right? You got to give them the light that kind of tells, or not too long. It's just, this is how they know where they're at and when they need to get off. I learned my lesson one time, lighting Eddie Griffin, and then he looked at it and then kept going. Then 10 minutes later, I hit him again and he looked at it and kept going. And then the third time, he goes, I see the light, motherfucker. I'm just going to keep going the more you light me. And I'm like, oh. never let somebody again. But
he was a headlining. He
was headlining. Yeah. But we respect them because I've heard stories about other clubs that are literally for a headliner, like a major headliner, would cut their mic off for going overtime, or would turn the lights on the stage off. And it's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
You know, to do that to somebody who's coming to your place to do stuff. Then also, you know, again, Miami's way different than any club in the world. Comics aren't used to, and then they get it when they come down here. We don't start on time. It's a Miami thing.
Yeah.
We're never gonna, if the show's at 7, it's never gonna start at 7. It's just how it is. And it's not our fault, it's your fault.
Yes, it's the audience's fault.
It's you guys are the ones that are always late. But I tell them, if you want to start, we can, but you know, we're still waiting for some people to come in. Then their concern is, what about the next show? And I'm like, the next show understands why this is happening. I know I talk with my hands a lot, but the next show understands why this is happening because of this. And it's kind of like, you got to communicate. That's all it is. Sometimes, you know, again, there's clubs and managers who try to, you never want to feel like you're trying to take advantage of the comics. And then that's what it is. The bottom line is respect. And that's how you build these relationships. And not just that, with customers also who come to the show, right? Communication. Sometimes they can have an issue that can be solved very easy, but if nobody goes up to them and solves it, then the whole night they're thinking about this thing, right?
Yeah.
You guys are great at communicating. That's all it is. You know, you need that in, I mean, any relationship, but especially in this business that we're in, because social media is such a strong thing now. If a comic does leave and has a bad time and they talk shit about Miami, then it's like everybody knows about it.
It's a ripple effect.
And you know, it's funny, this actually happened before, I don't want to say before internet, but Miami does have, I don't know if they're going to like me saying this, Miami has a bad rap about the crowds because of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan one time said on his podcast, Miami is the worst crowds in the country because nobody's there to watch the show. Everybody's there to go out after. And then since he said that, it was kind of like, a lot of people are like, oh, I guess Miami's bad. I guess, you know, Joe Rogan, the power of his
taking
mic.
as gospel.
Yeah.
But I've gotten word from some guys saying that they're like, bro, Miami's completely different now. It's not that at all. The crowds are great. The club is great. The staff is great. And then somebody's like, I even went and I told Rogan, you know, that's just bullshit, right? Miami's changed. And then Rogan's like, oh, well, maybe I'll get down there. He ain't coming down here. Yeah. But it's like, that's how quick something can happen, right? And then somebody of that influence says it. It's gonna be there, you know?
And it becomes fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People just assume. No, and it's absolutely right. And I think one of the things, like even like the intro video that we play like before the show.
Yeah.
Like I love that because it does, like every time that a comedian or anyone in the comedy world, greater comedy world, like mentions Miami, I'm always waiting for them to say something bad about Miami.
Yeah.
And so when you get that like good comments, it makes me so happy. Like I think we have such a unique spot. And like you mentioned in the last, I mean, while you've been literally watching it for the last 19, but really in the last 10, I think it's been, especially since the pandemic, Miami as a comedy culture, I think has improved and increased a lot. I even say like at the Improv, for example, like there's people that come out every single weekend. We have regulars that are there for every show, regardless of who the comedian is. They're just like, this is the best thing for me to do on a weekend. I'm gonna come out here and do it.
Yes. I mean, there's literally, you guys can probably say no. I think there's a stage every night, right?
Yeah.
Monday through Sunday. You can always find somewhere to go. And not like, again, not a dive bar, not some little spot, like an actual room that somebody put together. You know, shout out to all the guys, Manny Garridos, and, you know, I don't know who else, Paulie. I don't want to leave anybody out. I doing this.
No, but I'll tag everybody in it.
But the community of, I guess you could say, bookers, right, is very, like, it's great right now. We're in a good place. Comedy, especially down here. Like, again, every night you can go and catch a show somewhere else. You got to love comedy for that, because on my night out, I ain't going to a comedy show. So
well, you've literally been watching it, you know, for 19 years every day. So it's something that, you know, I get it. I get you. But you say that, but then at the same time, like tomorrow you're off and you're going to go catch a comedy show. Probably. You know what I mean?
Because these, you know, it's friends of yours. Like, it's funny. I went on a cruise with my family, and randomly, without being planned, the comedian on that cruise was Neri Signs. And then it's like one of our really good friends on here. Yeah. And I'm sitting there at dinner, and they're like, "Are you gonna go watch Neri's set?" And I'm like, "I've seen Neri's set." And it's not that Neri has the same shit, but I'm like, I know Neri, and I'm like, we're on vacation. I don't want to go watch a comedy show.
Yeah, it's like I'm at work.
But of course, we went every night. Every night we went to a show and we sat there and we supported him and stuff because that's our boy. But
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I still watch all the specials that come out. Not all of them because there's so many specials, but I still go back and catch myself watching Raw and Killing Them Softly and Run Till That. It's like
one of my things about working at the Improv is, and I was gonna say it earlier when you were talking about Marcos, but it's exactly that. Like, I love walking into the box and you, Marcos, and Sebi are there, like brainstorming some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And so I walk in, I'm just like, I see you guys going. I'm like, all right, great. All right, I can't wait to hear what these guys are coming up with. And then
never get shit done though, by the way.
And then like you have Cafecito. Those conversations have led to all the good things.
It's funny. Me and Marcos actually came up with a code word when it's like, because again, we sit down and then we start roasting each other. Oh, look at this video or some shit. So it's like, Worcester sauce. Let's get back to work. Boom, get back to work. That's a code word. But don't use our code word.
But one of my favorite, now it's going to be tagged. Let me make merch. Yeah. But what I will say is that, like, one of my other favorite things is when, like, we just have those moments and all of a sudden you're like, hey, did you see like Tom Segura's new and I'm like, oh shit, I hadn't even seen it yet. You know, so like those kinds of like comedy related things, or even like somebody, who was it? I can't remember the special, but you told me about a special. This is like already like a year ago, and I was like, I had never seen it. You know what I mean? So I went and watched it. You know? So like those kinds of tips where it's like, it's just deeper and deeper into the sauce. You know what I mean? You're just getting more and more ingrained into what's going on. And it's not like it's not gonna help my comedy material. It's not gonna help.
But you know what's funny? Being around people as much as we are around each other, you kind of get to learn each other's, sense of humor or likes, dislikes, and shit like that. So I might be talking to you about a comedy special that I know you're gonna like. Right. You might not like it, but I know your sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? And that also goes with movies and things like that. Like, I'm not gonna tell you, I'm like, you're gonna watch this because I know you'll get it. Or even if it's like, an inside joke. But that's, again, the camaraderie and the teamwork that we have, because us talking about something, you saying one thing could spark something, and then even if I'm writing it down, you can come up with a better version or idea path how to do it. And bro, working again, how many people would you say working with us are comedians? You,
Ashvin, Ben, me, Sebi,
Marcos. You can throw Marcos in there.
Marcos.
On staff right now, that's it. We've had like Peter Girl, Eric.
We've had others.
So that's 5-6 comics working in a place together. There's bound to be good ideas bouncing off each other. And again, not that we all do it, but you never know what was going to come up. And then, that's what we get.
This podcast was birthed exactly out of that.
Right.
Sebi and I having a conversation after work and thinking about how we could do something that helps us and helps, the community and has an actual value. And it's like, wait, we both work at the Improv. We spend all day as insiders in comedy. Let's leverage that. Let's try to put, but you're absolutely right. It never would have happened if we didn't have.
And the other thing that shows is, the longevity of people there. Look how many people have been working for how many years? Like, I'm 19 in. You got Lucy. You got all these people. That's
shout out Lucy and Chris.
Shout out to Lucy and Chris. Let's drop her name. Melissa's been there for 20 years.
She's gonna love her. She's gonna love that
one.
Yeah. All right. So, what's next?
No, but I will say this. Speaking of the staff, I think that is one of the most unique things about the Improv, and one of the things I want to talk to you about is that it feels like such a family, and,
100%.
and it's incredible how no matter what happens, if one person goes, someone else is plugged in, or like there's like over time you get shifts in like the general population, but for some reason,
but they all come back.
It's
and not come back to work, but they all come back like
to support,
to say hi, and then it's like they walk in and it's it's like, and it's not just fake care. We care for each other. If somebody's hurting, we try to help. If it's somebody's birthday, we all get together. It's kind of like, even outside of work, you would think people who work so much together get sick of each other, but then
they're always hanging out. They're always going out.
Well, it's just,
they never invite me, but they're always going out.
They don't believe that. Oh shit, they don't believe that's Portuguese, bro.
Exactly.
No, I'm a pain in the ass.
Sebastian knows it, but not aren't.
I'm a pain in the ass. I get it. No, but speaking of like that camaraderie and people that leave and come back, I think one of the beautiful things that, especially you in your case, that you've worked tremendously on is the social media reach. Like someone like Stax, for example, he was an employee there when you guys were at West Palm, right?
And then he worked in Miami.
And the Miami one as well?
No, not the Grove. He
started at
the Hard Rock.
Hard Rock,
yeah, that's where I met him. And then he went to West Palm and then in Miami. But yeah, again, another one who took advantage of the position he was in. Because again, not a comedian, but build relationships with a lot of these guys. And then the biggest one right now is like when this was, I mean, now the Hard Rock, again, the years messed me up, but let's say 15 years ago at the Hard Rock, a young Theo Von was best friends with a young Stax. Years later, obviously Theo's on another level and Stax is doing his thing. They saw each other for the first time in 15 years and it's like they were all best friends all over again. And you would think, a lot of these guys, you would think Theo Von's kind of like unreachable, but right away, it's like, oh, hey. And that's taking advantage of the opportunity you're given. And then, he's
he's hilarious.
Yes.
And his content is awesome. So he really adds value. Like I remember the Steve-O content he did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Dude, that was awesome. You know what I mean? Like to do the tattoo, to do the wave, the Wave Rider is called.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's the kind of stuff. And he's like a Florida man. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why they love him. Crazy white boy tattoos, but he also gets it. He's not too pushy. He's not over the top because there's a lot of times that he can be a lot, and there's times that you would think, but it's understanding somebody's vibe, right? And then it's just you gotta. And then another thing, when me and him were being friends, we help each other out. So I'll put him in positions to get stuff, but then he's helping us promote shows and things like that. And then again, that's all full circle when it's like, he doesn't work with us, but he still works with us.
Right.
And
that's what I mean. Like he really doesn't have to.
Right.
He just does it out of like pure love and for the organization. To me, that means a lot. Like that's one, even though him and I, we've talked a couple of times, we don't know each other like that. But one of the reasons I've had a lot of respect, because every interaction I had with him was very professional, which is something you don't expect from his character.
Super racist.
But really, really well done. Really professional. And on top of that, like he keeps coming back and doing like a lot of Sebastian and I talk about this all the time, which is like do the work, put the value in first. When people recognize it, then you can come back around and talk about money and talk about all these other things. But show the value you have first. And for me, with all his content, and you show me some of the stuff from back in the days, it's always been good. It's always been, so big hats off to that. And again, it's the relationship you built while he's at the Improv that allows him to now come back and feed right back in.
Yeah. And then, it's respect. Like there's guys, and again, going back to like Marlon and stuff like that, there's guys who's like, I don't ask people for anything. First of all, I can't never do anything because I'm always at work. But I'm never one to be like, hey, can I get this? So if I ever do need a favor, people are always like 100% because you always take care of me. And, I said this to you a few times at work. We're in a position where we're at and, in work and stuff to really, the smallest little thing can make a huge difference in somebody's night, which can end up being, I always try to put myself in somebody's shoes when they come to the show, right? They had to buy tickets, they had to come, they had to drive, get a babysitter, valet, this, that, parking, that. Then they get there, and then they might not have a good experience that to us can just be as simple as just changing a seat. And then that turns their whole night around. And then all of a sudden, this is like a fairy tale, but then all of a sudden this person ends up being the prince of Dubai, something like that. And it happens. And all of a sudden you meet somebody who now, the one little thing you did for them is a connection for life. And like how you say, people are like, oh, Justin did something like that. And that's all it is. The smallest things can sometimes make the biggest impact. And we're luckily in a position that, bro, again, we have something that people want, right? People want.
And not to cut you off, but that's literally why I work at the Improv.
Yeah.
Because so many people that
that's the only reason.
No, I mean, that's really like, I've met I have friends of mine, family members who have never been to the Improv to see me at a show.
Yeah.
Last night's show, which was kind of short notice for normal shows for me, I had at least 6 people who I met at the Improv. They had some situation that came up. I took care of them in some small way.
Yeah.
And they've been to my shows multiple times, so I agree with you 100%. I think it makes all the difference to like you said, like it's their big night of the month. It's the one night they went out.
Right.
So if we can do a little thing to make sure it goes a little smoother.
Right.
And the customer never expects perfection. They expect us to fix shit when it goes wrong. Right. So as long as we do that, guess what?
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I've met, it's so funny because a lot of audience members that I've met before, that I'm like, have you been to the Improv? They're like, oh, I went one time. I had a little bit of a situation, but Justin took care of me. Which is so funny to hear that because I'm like, yeah, I know. Yes, that's what he does.
That's usually how it goes. Yeah, that's usually how
it gets to that point where somebody has to take care of it, Justin's going to take care of you. You're not going to leave there pissed.
Look, when I tell you I want to say this. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. But you still never know. You still always get surprised with the dumbest shit. But it's fun, man. I'm telling you, I could write a book with the shit that stories and things that have happened, but then probably get fired.
Well, we will at some point with Art Roach Publishing. I'm gonna come out with my own publishing company.
Nice.
We're gonna take over the world, guys. It's only a matter of time, you know.
One thing that I wanted to ask before we get out of here is we have a few events coming up with Cafecito that you are going to be partnering with. The first one is obviously Barry's, like we said, in the Grove.
Shout out to Barry's in the Grove, man. What a great spot. The owner there, Rob, right? I hope I'm saying his name. Sorry, Rob. Rob is amazing. Lena is amazing over there. You know, the whole team, the staff, and the servers. Like they've taken such good care of us. So I'm happy that the show's growing to the point that it's at. We're doing it once a month, the last Thursday of every month. So, you know, just keep an eye out for those shows because, again, another South Florida showcase. You never know who's going to be there, but it's guaranteed to always be a great show, no matter what.
So I actually last night at the show, I met two young ladies who they moved down to Miami a couple of years ago. Their first comedy show ever in Miami was the Cafecito Comedy at Barry's last month.
Oh, nice.
And they had such a good time that they actually sought out more comedy, saw the Have Nots post, and came out to one of the Have Nots shows. So as I'm talking to them, they mentioned like, oh yeah, this is really dope, but like we went to a really good show at Barry's. And I'm like, really? Who did you see there? And she's like, oh, and then mentioned Sebastian, mentioned Lando. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, those are like my friends. You know what I mean? Like those are my friends. So it was really good to see how like they go to one show, have a really good experience, and then they actually take a risk and go to other people's shows. So it was really dope to see that.
So other than Barry's, which by the way have been an incredible partner with Cafecito, the way that they set up the whole room that we are able to perform in since the beginning has been fantastic. It really gives it like, for me, the closest thing to a comedy club feel that you get outside of the Improv right now in South Florida. But other than that, we also have a 5K that you guys are going to be partnering with. Ricky's 5K. Talk a little bit about that. It's going to be the second one happening at Equinox.
Anatomy.
Thank you. It's going to be happening at Anatomy in City Place Doral if you want to get out there and support. But Justin's got some more info on that.
So, Cafecito Comedy. We're comedy, but we like to do all things. Just spread your wings, right? Ricky's Runner. Sorry, Rick. It's a 5K. So it's a really good friend of mine, Ricky, that it actually started that for his birthday. He's like, I don't want to go to a club. I don't want to get a boat. He's like, I want to put a run club together and just have all my friends come to the beach and run. And I'm like, perfect. That's nice and cheap for me. So that's so the first one was such a success. We had like 50 people there. You know, we had sponsors, we had medals, and we had prizes and things like that. He's like, we should do this every month. And then me, because I don't already have enough going on. Yeah, let's add that to the list. So now we're going to start doing 5Ks once a month. And this one is going to be in City Place Doral, sponsored by Anatomy, the gym. Ghost is going to be sponsoring as well.
Nice.
Mr. All Day.
Cafecito, Improv. And then as soon as we're done running, you guys running, we're going to have a brunch right upstairs at Copper Blues.
I'll be there for the brunch, guys. Count me in for the brunch.
Art's going to go out, and then as they're running, he's going to make a left and just go right upstairs.
Yeah, I'm going to fire the gun so you guys start the 5K, and I'm going to go upstairs and get the brunch ready for you.
Nice.
Check out the page. It's Ricky's Runner. Ricky's Run. Sorry, Rick. Just check out the page.
I'm going to tag it all. I will tag him and get it right for you guys. Don't worry about that.
But that once a month, and then also with Cafecito, we're going to be bringing back our bread and butter, our most original show, and it's called the Best Damn Game Show. Those are going to start happening at Copper Blues.
Nice.
We're also going to start doing some.
Oh, that's going to be sick.
Some dating shows with a good friend of ours, Angelina Castro. We're also going to be doing. There's a lot coming up, so keep up with the comedy calendar because it's going to have the calendar of Cafecito Comedy. Boom, tongue twister, baby.
There you go.
Now, professional.
Now you're figuring out the transition.
And Justin just did my part, so I guess I'll be quiet now.
There you go. As you should. No, but Justin, man, thank you again for coming on the show, dude. We are at an hour and 3 minutes. I think that might be the longest episode that we've had. I don't think we've broke an hour with any other guest, and I'm happy that we hit it on our 50th episode, guys.
Again, and it felt like 2 minutes. You see that? 19 years.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes, bro.
You might want to see a doctor about this time thing.
Yeah, he's gonna have to see Doctor Strange about that. But anyway, guys,
he did say he's Dominican, so there you go. That makes sense.
Manito. That's how I do it. ¿Qué lo que, manito? Hey.
La vaina es.
¿A ti te gusta morir soñando?
Those guys. But guys, thank you all, everyone out there at in Comedy Calendar family land and everybody else also adjacently in the community newspapers and who support us right here on the Comedy Calendar, guys. Again, this is episode 50 and it is crazy to be able to say that, man. I am so honored to have been right here hosting for you guys alongside my co-host Art Roach. The guests that we've interviewed up until this point, I never thought we would have gotten the amount of guests and the caliber of guests that we've been able to get on the show, and it is only leading up to bigger and brighter for the Comedy Calendar going into 2026 and beyond, guys. So please stay tuned. Follow us on all our social medias. We have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, everything, YouTube. Definitely stay up to date with us. Again, these full-length episodes go up on YouTube and Facebook every single week, guys. And if you want to catch anything else that's happening in South Florida comedy adjacent to what we've already shouted out in the show, you can always go to the link in the description of this video for the South Florida comedy spreadsheet, where you can get all the other information for everything else that's happening in South Florida comedy. Art, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Only one thing, which is anyone that works for a school, if you see me, I'll be harassing you to come to a comedy show. That's it. Just be ready. Be ready for it. If you see me and you don't want to hear it, just dodge me. That's all you gotta do.
Nice. Justin, anything else before we get out of here?
Shout out to Cafecito Comedy. Check the page. See y'all on the other side. Peace.
You heard it from here. Until next week, guys. Stay laughing.